right, legends, welcome back to day 2 of the Content and Conversion Summit. Hope you are doing absolutely incredible. I hope you enjoyed day 1. And if this is the first time you are here on the Content and Conversion Summit because you missed day 1, then I hope that you don't miss any of the other days. Here's what I will say. Commit to being a finisher. So many people in this world, especially in the network marketing space, they are so good at starting something and terrible at finishing it. So I want you to use this summit to prove to me, prove to yourself, and prove to the universe that not only have you started the summit, but you've finished every single day, 1 hour every day for the last 5 days. Well, for the next 5 days, right? This is day 2, right? So that's important. Now, today, we are going to be hearing from AJ Yates, a new friend of mine who is a top performer in her company, absolutely crushing it. You're going to love her. And a great friend of mine from the UK, Leah Locket. She's one of the top income earners in her company as well. Both amazing women, both rock stars, and you're going to absolutely love the content that they're going to share as well. Before we get to that, though, I've got a couple of things I want to share with you about social media. And again, I don't want you to. There's two types of people in the network marketing world, in life in general, but let's focus it in the network marketing world. There are some people who hear the same thing twice and go, "Oh, I've heard this one before." Right? There are some people who hear things a few times and go, "Oh yeah, I know this. Where's the new stuff?" And there are other people who hear it multiple times and go, "I know this one." Be a second grouper, not a first grouper. The first grouper, they're constantly looking for the hacks and the new ways of doing things. The second grouper get excited about hearing the same thing over and over again because, number one, it means that they know it more. And number two, it means if they keep saying it over and over and over again, it's probably because it works. All right? So I want you to become a group tour, because the goal of social media, the goal of personal development, to complete personal development is to be able to finish the sentences of your mentors. If you have too many mentors, you'll never finish their sentences. But if you have 3, 4, or 5 people who you learn as much as you can from, that might even be too many. Maybe you just need 2 or 3. But when you find that who has got what you want, you learn everything from them. When you can finish their sentences, you will win. You will win because you will be a version of them. You'll be your own version, but you will take everything that's helped make them successful and you will be able to implement it into your life and you'll be able to pass it on to someone else. All right? So it's so important. Now, before we go to AJ and to Leah, I just wanted to kind of share with you something that I feel is super important in network marketing. There's 2 things. Something called an SSP and then tracking. And I know before you jump off, you're like, "Oh, tracking, I hate it." It's so important, right? Now, an SSP is a structured sales process, right? And tracking is tracking, right? I wear this Whoop band, right? This Whoop band, it helps track my sleep, track my calories, track my movement, track my energy. Like, it helps track so many different things. I love it. I've been wearing it now for a few years. But anyway, tracking is super important. But an SSP, the reason why you need a structured sales process is the fear of judgment is the mother of all fears. Like, it is crazy. So there's 2 types of judgment. It's I don't want to look stupid by not having the answer, and I don't want to look stupid by not knowing what's next. Now, the first part is I don't want to look stupid by not knowing the answer. That's if someone says like, "Oh, it's a pyramid thing," or "I don't have the money," or "I don't have the time," or "I don't know if I can do this." And you not knowing what to say, that would be like judgment, right? The fear of judgment. But if someone then was to say, "Yeah, I'm interested, send the information," I don't know what to send, and now I look stupid again. So by having an SSP, this is a process where you know exactly what to do next, whether the response is positive or negative. All right? So what does that look like? Well, it's generate a lead, right? And we're going to generate a lead by finding them or attraction marketing. This is what this whole thing is all about, right? This whole summit is about social media, content creation, right? Conversations, people, right? Then you're going to connect. You're going to connect with them. That could be building a relationship, asking questions. Building a relationship, asking questions. Then you're going to ATQ, which is ask the question to see if they're open. Then you're going to show a tool. Then you're going to follow up. follow up, and then you're going to launch. I'm going to put it this way, right? That's your structured sales process. Now, if a lead doesn't want to be connected, like they don't want to connect, move on to the next person. If the person you're connecting with, if you ask the question to them and they say, nah, not interested, then you need to know what to say. And a good thing for that is like, no, I'm not interested. It's, hey, totally cool. I'm only looking for people who are looking, right? That's it. So you can go, wow, because sometimes when you take things away from people, they come running after it. I call it the mirror method, right? This is something that I've done for years. I only figured it out when I went to a Starbucks. It wasn't a Starbucks, it was a Costa. Anyway, coffee's coffee. I don't even drink coffee. It was a Costa coffee shop. It was in Birmingham, or the Walsall Junction. Walsall Junction. Was it the Village Hotel? Anyway, it might have been a Costa coffee in the Village Hotel. All right. And the guy leant backwards. He was in his chair. I was in my chair, and he leant backwards. And I did the same, right? He was like, yeah, I don't think this is going to work for me. And I just went like, okay, no worries. That was it. And he ended up leaning forward and being like, I wasn't expecting you to say that. Like, do you not need me to build this business? And I was like, I don't need you. Like, I want you. Like, I don't need you to join the business. I want you to join this business because I want to help you make a lot of money, right? I want to help you change your life. And it changed everything. So the reason why I say this is if someone leans out, and it's easier to identify it offline, but you can still do it online on a Zoom call when you're chatting with people. You can tell if they go quiet. Someone leans out, you lean out. If someone leans in, you lean in. Don't actually kiss them. I'm just joking, right? So they lean out, you lean out. They lean in, you lean in. So if someone's like, hey, this is really cool. Like, tell me more. I'm going to lean in and be like, hey, I'm so happy that you said that. I'm so excited to share more with you. Before I do, I've just got some questions. I want to make sure that you're a perfect fit. Does that sound fair? Yeah, absolutely. All right. So like, why are you open to making money on social media? Well, I don't really know if I want to. So then I'm going to go, hey, then maybe this is not for you. Right? Like it works so well because it tells you exactly how to act next. Until you generate those leadership skills where you're leading and commanding, you don't have to be world-class salesperson. You just need to understand the basics of people. All right. Anyway, you know when you go on like a first date or whatever, and you can just tell if it was good or not? Usually, it's not necessarily the words. It's usually the body language, facial expressions, like, oh, yeah, really, really, like the head tilt with the smile. Like, it's all this fun stuff. Okay. So someone then says, yeah, I'm open. You qualify, you show them a tool, you follow up with them after the tool, and then you help them launch. By simply knowing what's next, it gives you so much clarity, it gives you so much certainty that you're doing the right things. How many of you guys, answer this at home, how many of you guys have not been consistent because you're scared, or not, maybe scared's maybe not the right idea, but you've not been consistent because you're worried that it's all a waste of time? Like, what if I'm putting all this effort in and it just doesn't work out? I'm putting all this energy and all this effort and all this focus and time into this one person. Like, what if they just don't join the business or buy the product? Like, it's just going to be a waste of time. By having a structured sale process, you are going to be saving so much time, so much energy, so much stress. And that's what a system is, right? Saving yourself stress, time, energy, and money. Okay? And tomorrow, I've got a real big gift for you. So make sure you attend tomorrow because on day 3, I've got a huge gift. We've never done it before. Huge gift. It's going to help you exactly with this and with this because you should be treating your business like a business. You are the CEO of your own business. Yes, your business, your company has a CEO. They're the ones who's calling all the shots, but you call the shots with your day, with your calendar, with your meeting, with your culture, with your community, with your tools. You call the shots. You're the CEO. If you're treating it like a CEO, you will be paid like a CEO and beyond. The CEO of Disney made something like $60 million last year, right? CEOs get paid a lot of money. Start being a CEO, right? Start being a CEO. Okay, so tracking. You should track how many leads did I generate today? How many people did I connect with today? How many asked the questions did I do today? How many people did I get in front of the tool today? How many follow-ups did I do today? How many people did I launch today or relaunch today? Know your numbers, because numbers don't lie. Women lie, men lie, people lie, but numbers don't. If I come to you and say, right, Mary, how many leads did you generate? And you said, 100 today. Like, wow, beast mode. How many people did you connect with? 85 of them. I'll be like, wow, Mary, that's amazing. How many people did you ask the question to? 2. How many tours did you have? 1. How many followers did you do? 0. How many launches did you do? 0. I'm going to say to you, and I'll test you guys at home, where do you think the problem is? Where's the problem? Oh, I'm generating loads of leads and I'm spending all this time connecting with people, blah, 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 but I'm not getting anyone join. Why? Because you aren't asking the question. Fix this and the rest will get fixed, right? When you have numbers, if you say to me, I say to you, how many leads did you have? If you say, I don't know, then I should say, then I don't know how to help you. How many people did you speak to today? I don't know. Then I can't help. How many tools did you show? I don't know. Then I can't help. Or, I spoke to a lot of people. And how many people did you connect with? A lot. And how many people did you ask the question to? A lot. And how many people did you get on the tool with? No one. I can't help you. Because I don't know, where was the drop-off? I need to know numbers. Now, guys, I might look geeky, and I am geeky. I am geeky in many different ways, but I also didn't like tracking in the beginning. I didn't like tracking in the beginning. I didn't like any of that in the beginning, but I learned to love it because it just made the business easier. And if you can breed a culture of tracking your business, treating the business like a business, and knowing exactly what to do next, step by step, you are going to win so much faster, so much smoother, so much simpler, that you will start to think, no way is it this easy, but it is. The biggest lie we're told in life is it's not that simple, because the reality is it is that simple. And it's the people who have realized that it is that simple who make all the money and then try and convince other people it is that simple. Wake up. And they're like, no, it's not. It's not that simple. It's not that. It is. It is that simple. If it's too good to be true, then it probably isn't true. In this game, it freaking is too good to be true, right? It is too good to be true, but we overcomplicate it. We overcomplicate it in our mind, and we allow to overcomplicate it in our environment. Change your environment, change your life. Change your story, change your life. Change your mindset, change your life. Now, before I introduce you to our first guest of today, our third guest of the summit, I want to give you a little assignment. I want to give you a little bit of homework, and I'm really going to be proud of those of you, and like a virtual high five from home, to those of you who actually do it, because it's not easy. And here it is, right? You've probably heard already, and you will definitely be hearing throughout the rest of the summit and in the behind the scenes interviews, which is there's so much gold in them, that you've got to be authentic. You got to be your authentic self. You got to show up authentically. If you do things authentically, you can do it for longer. But one of the biggest parts of authenticity is vulnerability. There are so many people out there who are saying they're authentic who have never shared a moment of vulnerability. And vulnerability is the key that unlocks the door to authenticity. Vulnerability is going to start more conversations than ever before. Why? Because people can relate to the struggles and the losses more than they can relate to the wins and the successes. So my dare for you, my challenge for you is to create a vulnerability post. A vulnerability post. I'm going to write it down here. I'm just going to put a vulnerability post. To create a vulnerability post. Now, a vulnerability post it's not usually a video. It can be a video. It's not usually a video, but it can be, where you're going to write something, where you share something vulnerable with people. It could be a disease. It could be a dark past that you have. It could be a big breakup that you went through. It could be a failed business that you had. It could be mum guilt that you felt you wanted to share. Ask ChatGPT, right? Let ChatGPT help you establish what that vulnerable story is that's happened to you, because everyone has something. Everyone has something. And write your heart out. Write your heart out. If you have a photo of you when you start, like when this happened, when you're not looking as sexy as you are now, because network marketers after a few years are always super sexy, right? So anyway, like show that photo or show that video, write that caption, and just notice what happens with people who have followed you for a long time, people who have been friends with you for a while. Watch how the comments are not like, this is awesome, you're awesome, congrats. It's more meaningful. I never knew that happened to you. Da, 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 da. And vulnerability creates conversations. And that's the goal on social media. The goal is to create content, to create conversation, to then get conversion, to then build a community of people who are like-minded and are on the same mission, right? Content, conversations, conversions, community. That's the flow that we want to take. And if you're struggling with content, start with this vulnerability post. And I challenge all of you to do it. Now, some of you are going to go and put it on your stories. Don't put it on your stories. Put it on your feed. It's easy to hide behind the stories. Put it on your feed. You don't go live. It can be a reel, or it can be like a static post, meaning text with like an image, right? But go ahead and do it. I promise you, you will feel so relieved after you've done that. Okay? All right, go make it happen. Now, last thing. We've got this, right? We've got this. And I hope that you're going to do the homework as well. Don't just learn. Make sure you do as well. All right? So I want to give you like a little framework to potentially get started with some consistency. Because a lot of people on social media, they brush their teeth on a Monday and then don't brush it for the rest of the week, right? Meaning that you go all in on Monday, like bam, 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 bam. Tuesday is a bit slack, Wednesday nothing, Thursday nothing, and it just dies off, right? You've got like an intense one day and then like you die off. Consistency trumps and beats intensity all day long. Doing it every single day is better than doing it 10 times in one day than not anything for the next 10 days. So I'm going to give you the 3-2-1 framework. Now, for a lot of you guys who are high achievers, you're going to go, is that it? Is that it? Like, no, surely that can't be it. Then you adjust the numbers. So 3 ads, meaning go and connect with 3 people. Go and find them in Facebook groups, which maybe I'll talk about tomorrow. Find them in Facebook groups. You can find them in comments of other people. Like, go and find people who already have your dream audience, and then go and add the people who are commenting on those posts. So if there's someone who has like an audience of mums, and you're a mum, and you're like, oh, I would love to have her audience. She has 22,000 followers. She gets like 40 different comments on every single post. Like, that's what I want. Then go and add their audience, right? They're following them for a reason. So go add those people, all right? So 3 ads a day, 2 group comments, right? Means going into a group and finding 2 posts and going commenting on those 2 posts. Or if there aren't any posts, go and create a post, all right? And then 1 ATQ, right? 1 ATQ, 1 ask the question, we put it here, right? 1 ask the question. So grow your list by adding 3 people in a day. Go and comment or post in groups, 2 posts, and ask the question, you know what? I'm actually going to change this to make it a little bit better and out of your comfort zone. Let's go 2 posts. 1 in the morning and 1 in the afternoon, right? 1 could be around a pain and 1 could be a story about you, right? So you add 3 people, you make 2 posts, and then you ask the question, okay? Tomorrow I'm going to talk to you a little bit more about groups, and I'm also going to talk to you about repurposing and building on different platforms as well. Right, now, and by the way, guys, like, again, for those of you who are like, that's not enough, then instead of doing 3, 2, 1, go and do 30, 20, 10, and now you're thinking like 20 posts, you are freaking kidding me. Yeah, but it could be that you do 5 on Instagram, 5 on YouTube, 5 on TikTok, 5 on Facebook. So you are like, oh, only 2, is that it? 3, 2, 1's not very much. What do you think about 30, 20, 10? Yes. It could be 10, it could be 15, 10, 5, right? whatever it might be. Adjust the numbers accordingly for you. And it doesn't have to be this exact ratio. The idea is that you just get used to adding people on Facebook or following people on Instagram to start new conversations, right? And then you attract people by creating more content, and then you ask the question to move it forward. The reason why it's not 3 posts and 2 ads is because you need to understand that you should be the instigator. Start more conversations instead of waiting for the conversations to come. You don't like waiting in the lines. You don't like waiting for delayed trains. You don't like waiting for delayed trains. You don't like waiting for any of these things. So why wait for your business? If you don't like waiting in life, don't wait in business. All right. So here we go. Let's get into our first guest speaker for today, our third one of the summit. She's amazing. I recently came in touch with her. A friend of mine said, "Hey, do you know her?" And I was like, "No, I actually don't." And that's weird that I don't know the top earners and the top performers in the entire company. And I checked. I got sent her profile. I checked her out. I was like, I love her. She is awesome. I loved her energy. I loved her vibe. I love the aesthetics of her profiles and stuff. But I only got on the phone with her the first time when I did this interview with her. And straight away, I was like, oh my God, like her and I are so aligned with what we believe in, what we think, how we run things. She was saying things that I'm like, I've said that 100 times before. Like, how have we not like met sooner? But we've met, and she is amazing. I love that she talks about the basics, but she's also going to tell you like the difference between short form content, long form content, and how she uses it to be able to generate a large number of conversations, sign up a large number of people, and become the top income earner in her company, which is super exciting. So fasten up, get your notebooks ready, your notepads ready, because you're going to be learning and being blown away from the incredible AJ Yates. All right, AJ, how you doing?
I'm great. I'm happy to be here and to talk about some of my favorite things in the world today.
Oh my God, so funny. So guys, just so you know, because I want to give you some insight into how this works, like because I've not mentioned it yet. I don't prepare any of the people, any of the guests, right? I just like, hey, can you do this time? Like, we're going to talk about strategy, like that. That's literally it, right? And
Yeah.
AJ is so professional that she's like usually like has slides and super prepared and has her notes and her bullet points and all this. So, hey, like this, we're going to create some magic. We're going to
Yeah.
create some
Yeah.
magic.
And I'm telling people all the time, get out of your comfort zone. So here I am taking my own.
I love it. I love it. So you're amazing. You're absolutely crushing it. You can tell by your energy, right? That you guys can agree her energy is high level, and that's usually a great sign of success. What works for you? What works for you and your team right now when it comes to recruiting, selling, lead generation, whatever that might be? What's working for you guys?
Yeah, I think staying true to the basics of the industry, right? Like what worked 30 years ago, like that's still true to this day. But
Hmm.
then also taking a modern approach to it and learning from marketing as a whole, not just our industry,
Hmm.
and treating our businesses like a business and not just
Hmm.
posting whatever or just hosting whatever. There's real strategy and everything behind it.
Hmm.
And, so honoring where we came from in the network marketing space, belly to belly, and conversions with conversations, but
Hmm.
pairing that with, strategies that work today in the online space, I
Hmm.
think that's everything. So do you want me just to dive in and tell you kind of what we do? I could
Yeah,
do.
I would love that. And you know what though? It's a great reminder again because like throughout this summit, we've been talking about like you gotta understand people and understand the basics and like yeah, online's great, but offline's great, but understanding the fundamentals, but putting the fun into the fundamentals. So what you're saying is like, yeah, it's bang on the message that people really need to understand. So yeah, I'm very grateful.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And I look at content and just business in general, like it is a
Hmm.
funnel, all right? And I
Uh-huh.
think that sometimes when people they hear funnels, they hear systems, they automatically think technology, right? They think
Yeah.
like oh, I need a landing page that they click on this and that leads them to this. And then I need all these, back end systems. And
Mhm.
trust me, that's my favorite thing in the world. So I do love that stuff. And there is a time and place for that. But let's be honest, a lot of people that join us in this industry, they don't have that down yet or that skill set yet. Hopefully we can get them, growing in their business. But taking it to the basics and just looking at content in general, like it is a funnel, right?
Mhm.
So your short form content is
Mhm.
what gets them in the door and gets them knowing who you are and just know that you exist, right? So that's your short form content. And then you
Mhm.
have the long form content that gets them to like, know, and trust you. And I will say, I think something I'm seeing in the industry that I think
Mhm.
a lot of people are sleeping on is the long form content. We see reels, we see this just, the short form content, which is being pushed so much by platforms now, right?
Mhm.
But now that everyone's doing it, is that competition level has just gotten so much higher, and now you're a little fish in a big pond, right?
Mhm.
But if you use your short form content on social media to open the door, let people know that you even exist and what, a little bit about what you do,
Mhm.
then next step is the long form content to get them to,
Mhm.
know, like, and trust you. And so I
Yeah.
think that our industry is kind of sleeping on that. Like I don't see people doing as many lives as they were before, or they're not doing, calls to get people to know more about them and the opportunity, even YouTube. It's like we're all so focused on reels because that's where the influencer era took us, that we're missing out on so much of that. And in this industry, the community and all of that is what gets them to stay. So,
Mhm.
I really look at everything in recruiting as a funnel where it's, it's, the content, and then you get them down to the next stage
Mhm.
of they want to do a deep dive on you, and then you can have forms and all of that. I'm a form girl. And the
Yeah.
reason why I love forms is because I can get their pain points, right? Like
Wow.
I want to know what their pain point
Yeah.
is with products, in business. How much money do they want to make? What is their reasoning for wanting to join you? And so I just kind of have this, and I make everything duplicatable too. Like, who cares if you can do it if your team can do it? So anytime I create a form, I also turn it into a template so that my team can have that template as well. And so
Mhm.
in regards to sales, and sorry, I just I just started talking because I'm so passionate about this. I
This
could
is
just talk.
so good, and you can tell though. But you can tell you're passionate about it,
Yeah.
like, and that's the idea, right? Just
Yeah.
go, go, go. Like,
And
I think what you're saying. Though, so, question on that: do you use Jotform? Do you use
I do.
Google Forms? Ah, you same as me. See, there you
I
go.
use
Right?
Jotform, yes, and
Yeah.
the reason
Yeah.
why, it's funny, I say all the time, I'm a nerd that somehow ended up in this like glamorous world because really like my favorite place in the world is other than with my family and my kids and my wife, my
Of
favorite
course.
place is behind my computer, right? But I
Mhm.
love Jotform because you can create templates from it, so anything you do, you can share with your team.
Mhm.
But then also there's some logics that you can put in and conditions in the back end. That's, for example, let's take my company. We have 4 different verticals, right? So I can have on my form for the product side, I can say, what are you interested in? And if they click on, skincare and hair care, it's going to hide everything else, all the other questions. But then at the end, it's gonna be like, are you sure you don't want a makeup consultation too? So I could put
Mhm.
that in, right? But then I'm getting their pain points. What is the number one thing that you would change about your health if you could? What's the
Mhm.
number one that you could change about your hair if you could? And so then when I'm talking to them, I can say, I saw you mention that, crow's feet is an issue for you. I don't know if you know what
Mhm.
crow's feet are.
But
That's a little
hey, come on, like, come on,
little wrinkle right there, right?
like,
And I
come
can
on.
say, so we have these products that are great for that, but did you know that our collagen is actually clinically proven to help with crow's feet? And then
Mhm.
I can like take their pain point and pair with my product, or take their pain point in business and life, right? Finances, where they want to, if they want to take their kids to Disney, whatever it is. And I could pair that with the solution and the transformation that I offer. And I think
Mhm.
that, in this space, just
Mhm.
overall and social media and marketing and everything, the whole world shifted to this influencer model, right? That was like a look at me model. And and that worked for a little bit of time, right? But instead of that, at that phase, actually Dave Ramsey, he's been
Mhm.
talking a lot on social media lately about how the
Mhm.
influencer era is dead now, and people
Mhm.
want real, connections and authentic people, which is great for
Mhm.
us as network marketers. But instead of that, like, look at me influencer era, it can be like, this is for you. Let me show you how I can help you. Let me show your transformation. So I
Mm-hmm.
really think that like teaching those strategies and teaching those funnels in our team is what's working. And
Love
I'll
it.
tell you, like, I tell my team all the time, I get the same dopamine hit that I get when I see my check come through every month as someone in a team chat that's like, I just had a, $500, $600 sale because I used your form. And I'm like, yes,
Yeah.
yes, it works,
Oh my,
So
but
that's what's working.
it's funny what you mentioned about like the influencer stuff, because I've been saying now for, well, yeah, probably close to 10 years that it's not about making ourselves look better, it's about helping people become better. And I think
Exactly.
like you're the same, right? So you're helping people become better by finding their pain points, getting to know them, showing them that you actually care about them. So I think it's great what you said here about short form and long form as well, because I 1000% agree so much. People, and for the people watching, I think this is a great way of understanding and appreciating it, is that you don't remember the last reel you watched, but
Exactly.
you might remember the last movie you watched, you might remember the last YouTube video you watched, you might remember the last podcast you listened to, because it took a bunch of your time. However, the short form that you watched, that reel that you watched that you forgot about, you sent it to your best friend, right?
Mhm.
So like people are sharing you. It's not the algorithm that grows your following, it's the people that grow your following. And something that I heard recently, which is a great reminder, you probably agree as well, is that short form content, the purpose of it is to remind the people who already follow you that, like,
Mhm.
I'm still here. I'm still
Yeah.
doing what I said I was doing ages and ages and ages ago. And it's a
Mhm.
matter of time before they buy, right? So,
Or get in front of new audiences.
right.
So I'm not saying don't do short form because
Yeah.
that's power. I'm saying don't only do short form, is what I'm saying.
Exactly. But
Yeah.
people are using the short form as an excuse not to do the rest of it, right? Like they don't have to do the reach out, they don't have to do the long form, they don't have to do
Yeah.
presentations. It's just like just please message me saying what's your link,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
just was it.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Yeah.
She
And
so
I read a study the other day that said that it takes 7 hours for
mhm,
someone to watch you, listen to what you're saying to get to a decision, right?
yeah.
And so if you're doing, 90-second reels, how much
Mhm.
are they going to have to
I know.
see of you to get to the buy-in process, right? And the 7 hours, that's not just like, forward face. And that can also be in groups and DMs and the back end and
Yeah.
the job forms and all of that.
Mhm.
But what is that connection content that you can do as well
Yeah.
that just like they're watching everything you do and connection content long form in my opinion is also
Mhm.
carousels. It's your highlight bubbles. It's all those other things that people can do a deep dive into you and what you do. And I
Yeah.
think a lot of people are just so focused on reels now
Uh-huh.
um, that they're forgetting everything else.
Yeah, for sure. And I think as well, it's a cool little assignment and exercise for you guys watching at home and listening to this, watching this, whatever it might be. Get with a friend, like a battle buddy, accountability partner, upline, downline, sideline, cross company, whatever, and just interview each other. Like
Yeah.
just go interview each other on like the why, the what, the how, right? Like the why did you get involved? What are the benefits of doing it? How does someone get started? Who is for, who it's not for? Just why not? And put it on
Right.
YouTube and put it on your pinned post on Instagram and put it on your pinned post on Facebook. And it only takes one person to watch that 30-minute interview for them to go, oh my Lord, and they just keep watching, right?
For
So
sure.
this is amazing. How like where are you putting your long form? And you mentioned carousels and like, do you actively build on YouTube or are you focusing mainly on Instagram? Like, where's that long form content going?
So right now, so for
Mm-hmm.
example, what you're talking about with interviews, one of the things that's actually been really working for me and my team lately, is doing panels, live panels on
Mm-hmm.
Facebook. I know
Mm-hmm.
people in this space sometimes feel like Facebook's dead,
Love
but
it.
it's
We love it.
not, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
And
we love it.
so
We love
what
it.
we've been doing is twice a month, we've actually, in storytelling, right? That's a huge thing
Mm-hmm.
is not just selling, but storytelling so people can see themselves in that story, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we're doing something where twice a month we're actually doing different categories and having a panel there. So we had a teacher
Mm-hmm.
panel where
Mm-hmm.
I interviewed teachers on my team. They talked about how they built their business, what their life looks like now because of this opportunity. And I had a teacher who has known me since college, who has bought products from me for 4 or 5 years, finally joined because she saw other teachers and heard their stories, heard what they were doing, heard how they could do it all, right? So we did that. Then we did a hairstylist one. Our next one coming up is a makeup artist. I'm gonna be interviewing a panel of that. So that's the longer form content, but I'm taking that and I'm putting it on YouTube. I'm taking that and I'm putting it on Instagram, and I'm putting it different places, because repurposing is, that's for free monetization, right?
Uh-huh.
And so we're doing those longer form things there. I've always been a YouTube girl, and I do not. And I was actually, so I'm training on YouTube at a summit in a couple of months. And it's not that I have a lot of followers. I'm like barely, I'm right under 1,000 followers. I don't look at YouTube like I'm trying to grow a following on YouTube. I look at YouTube as a search engine.
Yeah.
Because what happens as your company expands and they hear about it, but they don't know anybody doing it yet, they're going to type the name of your company into, and then they're going to join the person that has the most content, that's covered the comp plan, that's done all the stories, that's done the interviews. And so I would say 40% of my frontline is from YouTube.
Yeah.
And they wanted to find a mentor. They did a time on me. And then on all of my videos, I have how to contact me. And then I just put them down as well, right? So,
yes. And it's so funny. Like, I think another oh my God, you're full of assignments, AJ. So,
and I love it. I love giving homework.
You are just full of homework, and I love it, because you make my brain go like, okay, this is a great action tip. I think I'm the same as you. Like, we're very, very similar. Like, YouTube is actually the platform that I think if all my platforms were to just vanish and I could only keep one, I think it would be YouTube. I remember having a conversation with a CEO of a company that did a few $100 million a year, and they wanted to hire me for like a keynote. And he messaged me in the email saying, "What's your YouTube channel?" Now, everyone else goes, "How do I find you on Instagram? Do you have Twitter? What about Facebook? Like, what's your WhatsApp?" He was just like, "Can you just send me your YouTube channel? Because that's where the longest form content, so we could get to know my style, my energy, my beliefs, like my tactics, the videos, just looking at the thumbnails." But one thing we have to do, it doesn't matter what company you're in, we have to protect the company, and we got to protect the industry. So I believe everyone should do my honest review or the truth about company X, and mention the name, like mention the company name on the product name, and just be honest. Like, I love these products because I was looking for this and I found this, and this is the only thing that worked. That's going to push all the negativity down. And once you do make that post, make sure you freaking share it with everyone in the team. Go, "Hey guys, what do you think of my review?" So that the algorithm knows, oh, it's popular, and it pushes everything down. And it doesn't matter, as you say, if you've got 1,000 followers, 3 followers, they don't care. They don't care about that. So, AJ,
I'll tell you on YouTube. So, like, I love marketing, right? I've been in it for forever. And finding this industry, being someone who loves marketing, was like a freaking gold mine for me. I was like, yes. But so I still, to this day, I have mentors in the industry. I listen to podcasts, but I love marketing outside of our industry, right? Like I still love everything, like you, for example. But I love learning just what's working for sales in general, what's working for marketing in general. And almost every single person that I, look up to in the marketing space is saying that in 2025, 2026, there's going to be a shift where YouTube, and I know all you TikTokers and Instagrammers are probably like, no, I don't believe it, but YouTube is going to be a dominant platform, because people want connection. People want to know more. People want to do deep dives, and they want to like, know, and trust you and get to know you before making decisions. And the beautiful thing about YouTube is that it's the lifespan of something, right? So think about how new content that you have to put out to stay relevant on Instagram, right? I saw last night, I was doing my skincare routine, and I see something pop up on my YouTube channel. It was like 50,000 views. You hit 50,000 on something. I was like, what the heck was that? And I clicked on it. It was something I posted a year and a half ago. Hit 50,000 views in the past 45 days, because it has a 45-day tracker. It's been like 7,000 views in the last 45 days on something I posted. So the lifespan of YouTube, you could be getting leads from something that you do now 5 years from now. Whereas, and I'm not, don't listen to this and say that, don't think that I'm saying don't do reels and all of that. Like, please continue doing that. But also think about like the lifespan of content, where you put something, you have to continuously post new content on Instagram to stay relevant, the algorithm, all the things. So a beautiful thing that I love is that, repurposing things. Go do some long form content. Use all of the AI stuff that they have now to make little clips. You put that on your Instagram.
Yeah.
Done.
You
No?
know what, though? I will give a warning to you all, though. You, with your progression in this industry, you are going to look happier. You're going to look healthier. You're going to look sexier. You're going to look more energetic. You're going to look so great that when those videos that go boom 3 years after you did them, you're going to watch them and you're going to cringe
I
every single
agree.
second,
I
right?
totally agree. I agree. I have so many. I have videos from back in the day, like hidden on my YouTube. I go back. I'm like, I have changed a lot,
Yeah,
and just like my
glow up.
energy, my aura,
Yeah.
everything. So I
I,
agree. But it's long form content
yeah,
with
yeah.
long form views.
100%. And your glow up is the number one invite. They say your vibe attracts your tribe, but your vibe is your invite. Like you work on that glow up and you will go up 100%. It's funny how it works. AJ, you are amazing. How do people go find you on all the things? What's your like handles,
Yeah,
profile
I'm
things?
AJ Yates Inc. on everything. And I'll tell you, AJ started in college as a nickname, but when I got married and started in this industry, my name is
Mhm.
Ashley Jones Yates, which are like the most common names in the world. So
Wow.
AJ was a branding thing. So if you just type in AJ Yates, I'm gonna come up because if you typed in Ashley, good grief, you're gonna find like so
I
there's an
love
AJ Yates in anything, you'll find me.
you are the best. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for having me. This has been fun.
Amazing. All right, legends. How cool was that? Like AJ is absolutely amazing. And in the next part, in the second part, the behind the scenes part, which you get access to if you have or when you get the all access pass, is the form that she was talking about, which by the way is exactly how I would build if I was in the field right now. I'd be leveraging some sort of form or some sort of landing page where I can get as many. My focus is just to fill the form. And I said to her, like, I was like, hey, so all you do every day is just fill the form. And she was like, oh, fill the form. Can I use that? I think she says it in the second part as well, like that she's going to be using the like fill the form. So I ask her, how do you fill the form? Like, how do you get hundreds of people every month actually filling in a form that gets you, like, allows you to know exactly what they want, what they're interested in, like whether it's the product, whether it's the business, what product it is, what part of the business. Because the more information you get to know about people, again, coming back to people, it's a people business. Build the people, they build the business, understand people, then they will join. You will sign up more people, right? So, like the more information you know about someone, the easier it is to close. Like the harder you qualify, the easier the close. Qualifying is when you ask the question, like, hey, are you interested? Are you open? And they say yes. It's just then why? So the seed is buried on the, instead, imagine this is the seed in the ground. The seed is actually buried right at the bottom because the deeper the fruit, the deeper the root, the sweeter the fruit. So I ask her, how do you fill the form? I asked her also, what questions do you use on the form? And then I asked her, how are you using AI in collaboration with this to be able to increase your numbers and just work smarter so that you don't have to be tied to the computer 24/7, right? And it was a really, really great conversation. So if you want the all access pass, you can hit the green button or go to the link. It'll be somewhere on this page at some point. You're gonna get the lifetime access to the 5 days of the summit, and you can watch them for as long as you want, whenever you want. Amazing personal development, by the way. Instead of listening to all the podcasts about all these different topics, why not repeat the content that's actually going to build your business? Like, why not? Like, hack, tick, shortcut to success, tick. All right. So you're going to get lifetime access to the 5 days. You're going to get access to all the 10 behind the scenes interviews, and you're going to be able to join our live and the recorded version of our implementation training, where we're going to talk about what strategies I would implement if I was you right now. The top 3 of all the strategies that we're sharing like 20 plus different strategies. The top 3 that I would focus on if I was you right now. Okay. So with that being said, super excited to get on to our second speaker of today. She, again, is an absolutely incredible leader, incredible human. I actually met her, I've known of her for a few years now. When she started her business, I was mentoring her, one of her uplines, very, very closely. And a lot of people in the company that she's with have gone through a lot of my trainings and a lot of my books. And I'm very, very grateful for that. They're big inside of the UK. But I've not met her until she came to my event, Dare to Dream. Shout out to those of you who came to Turkey in April this year, 2025. She came and she was on one of the front seats, and she was in the room for the majority of the event. And I met her for the first time in between some of the sessions. And we immediately clicked, and we had some great banter and we had some great conversation. And she was like, I'm going to bring so many of my team to the next event. So she has a piece of the 1,500 tickets that we sold in 9 days for Dare to Dream 2026, which is in Barcelona. All right. So with that, she's leading an amazing organization. She's on a plane probably, I would say it feels like twice a week that she's on a plane. She's living her best life. She's living a dream life. She's working super, super smart, but creating an income that looks like she's working super, super, super hard. And I just love her insights. I love what she talks about. I love what she brings to the table. She has just got off a flight and arrived at a hotel in LA from the UK. So she should be a little bit jet lagged, but you can make your own decision whether she's jet lagged or not. All right. So I appreciate you all for listening and tuning in to the amazing Leah Locket. All right, Leah, how you doing?
Absolutely fantastic. How are you?
I'm doing really, really good. Guys, I got to be completely transparent here, right? We were just chatting before. Leah's just come off a 15-hour sleep, and she's traveling like crazy. I think she's pretty much ticked every single country off this month already. And yeah, well deserved. So you're feeling good. You're looking great. That's what 15 hours does, right?
Yeah, feeling good, feeling fresh. I think that's the most sleep I've had in about a month, but I like to cram it all in at once for productivity, obviously.
Oh my Lord. This is just I'm so impressed. It's weird what I'm impressed with these days. Sleep is definitely one, and how many steps someone does. I'm impressed with that. And geez, man, getting the calories right and the macros. It's just I'm getting old. I'm getting old. So you are killing it. And I love to hear the northern UK accent crushing it. Honestly, it's just the greatest feeling. What's your magic? What's your method? What's your strategy? What are you doing that's allowing you to just blow up and crush it right now?
When I came into network marketing, I was not a fan of the industry at all. And I think I wasn't a fan of it because of the way that I'd seen it been done before. So I always think back to the cold messages, the no connection, the treating humans like sales instead of people. And so for me to come into the industry, which was 5 years ago, I kind of thought I need to change things a little bit here. I've not liked the way this has been done before. And I actually always say I used to be a network marketing hater, and I did. And for me to be able to do what I've done and help others to do what they've done, I had to become a network marketing educator. So I went from hater to educator very early on. And in the process, what I did was I understood what the industry was and what the industry wasn't was the first thing. There's so many misconceptions get thrown around online, offline, from friends and family, that I decided to study the industry so that I could become a teacher of it. And once I'd done that, I was really able to educate my followers, audience, team, even people in my network on how great this industry was and how misunderstood I'd had it before. So I think that was the first thing. And the second was teaching people to stop recruiting and start building, which is something that I've always been big on. I'd seen people treating people like numbers, hey hun, the old death of the hey hun. I'm the anti-hate. The anti-hate one, by the way. Yeah. So when I came in, I was like, how about we start connecting with people like people, first off?
Yeah.
And we start treating people like a person and not a number and not a sale. What we've got to do, no matter what we do in this industry, is an answer to somebody's problem. And so I taught people how to organically and authentically, which is my big thing, have a conversation and help somebody with something. And in the process, the duplication and everything else is just bang, 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 bang. And it's
Yeah.
not just me, success, it's anyone that's following what we're teaching and how we're teaching it, which is my biggest achievement.
Yeah, I love it. It's so interesting because everyone, like I've grown up, like one of my life philosophies, if I was to write a book about that sort of thing, would be something that I've been taught since from my granddad, like treat everyone like a someone, because everyone will become a someone if they apply it, right? So you just never know. You don't want to be the guy or the girl who's known for, like, it's because that guy who was an idiot, that's why I've become successful, right? You want to be like, it's because of that guy or that girl. Like, they inspired me because they treated me like a celebrity when I was no one. Like, that's just, yeah, I love that, from hater to educator. I wish there was more people like that, but that's why what you're doing is so important, because the more people who come across your organization, join your organization, have the same philosophies, boom, 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 the world becomes a better place as a result. I also love that you say, like, stop recruiting, start building. Um, one of the biggest questions I get asked on a day-to-day basis is how to find better people. And it's so interesting to me that, like, you don't find better people, like, you do your people better. Like,
Yeah.
that's, which is what you're saying, right? Like, you don't necessarily find leaders, you develop leaders. So how much of, like, your work day in terms of, like, personal production do you feel is like conversations versus, like, content creations?
Most of it, to be totally honest with you. So this is something that I think so many people get wrong when they come into the industry. And what they think is they'll look at somebody like me, or one of their uplines that's been doing this a while and 5 years in, and they'll think, well, my life doesn't quite look like that yet, so I can't post that, or I'm not earning what she's making yet, and so no one's going to join me. And they're all limiting beliefs that people use and have, that they can't have the success that others have got. And I think the first thing that I want to say on this is, when I started, we just went into lockdown. So I was super boring online. I didn't have any fancy content. I wasn't making the money I earn now either. And so I was just really boring online in lockdown. And that was my niche at the time. I could do nothing except go on my one walk a day and bake cakes because I was on furlough. And so that was the sole backbone of my content. It was very boring. I wasn't doing anything interesting. So the first thing I want to say is, if you sat in a bracket where you are thinking that, and if you're boring and in real life, be boring online. Perfect. You're going to find some people that are boring too, that you can help with access to. And the attraction marketing is something that people look at so often, and they think that if we post a reel, oh, they must have got so many new recruits from that, or they sold so many products, or so many people looked at their service. And actually, it's the complete opposite. So I want you to think about attraction marketing versus action marketing. My entire organization and brand has been built on action. Connection, conversations, online, and taking it offline is so important when you can. That the attraction actually is just my shop front. It's there for you to have a little look at and go, that might be interesting.
Yeah.
And DMs and the phone calls and the Zooms and the one-to-ones and the events, that's where the magic happens. People don't want to hear what it is.
100%. Like, and first and foremost, you made me feel sick by you saying that you joined in COVID 5 years ago. Two things, like, to where you've gone, went from beginning to now in just 5 years, is just insane. The second thing is, like, the idea that that was 5 years ago, and, like, where did those 5 years go anyway? Yeah, just, oh my God, like, there's so many things, and I hope, for those of you watching, you guys listening, you repeating, whatever it might be, like, please understand, you've heard this now a lot from all the people that we've got through this process. It's a people business. Action marketing wins. Conversation wins. The word action is in the word attraction. Like, there's so many clues with that. I'll tell a story real quick. So one of my mentors in the early days, I went just before I got started in network marketing, she was in the US, the person who had the record for creating the most number of millionaires recorded. Like, so, like, Guinness Book of Records sort of standards. She was interviewed in The Secret, the movie The Secret, and she taught the law of attraction. And I was like on the edge of my seat on the front of the rows, like every event she was doing, I was like, wow, law of attraction, wow, like the universe, wow. And she said, she came up to me about at one of the lunch breaks and she said, hey, I know that you're like super excited about the law of attraction. And she wrote it down on the board, the whiteboard, the flip chart. And she just removed the front like few letters, the A, T, T, R, right? And it was like, just said, actually said, just worry about that. Just worry about that. And I was like, oh my God, you're so right. Like the action, you do the action, you will get the attraction sort of thing, right? They say that your vibe attracts your tribe, but reality is your vibe is your invite. Like, and if you're not using it to invite, then you're not going to get any movement. So you're anti hey hon, me too, right?
Yeah.
But I'm in that situation where cold messaging works because you've got to message people who you don't necessarily know. Therefore, it's cold messaging. But like, how are you in your team? How are you teaching it? I say teaching it. Like, how are you guys able to do massive amount of action when, like, let's say the lists get depleted?
Yeah. So one of the things you just said that obviously I started 5 years ago and I've gone on a rocket ship trajectory in the last 5 years from there to where I am. In the process, what I did was realize I'd got so advanced and upskilled so much that I'd made everything too complicated for everybody else. And so in the last 18 months, what I did, and this is when we've really experienced explosive growth, we were moving quick, but we've doubled and tripled in the last 18 months, was I stripped everything out back to bare bones and made everything super simple. Because fancy fails and simple scales is what I'll say. And everybody's looking for something that's so high tech and so high touch and that's going to give them this result. And actually, the thing that's given us the result is teaching people how to have a normal conversation, which sounds so simple that people overlook it. And what I've seen again in network marketing are scripts and copy and paste things, and people will take them and say, hey, send this to somebody. And the problem that I've seen with that is people don't necessarily speak the way the script has been written. And so it comes across as inauthentic. And again, authenticity has been key to building my business. So what I've done in the last 18 months is teach people how to have a normal conversation based on how they know that person. So how would you start a conversation with somebody that you don't know very well? It's not going to be the same way that you would invite your sister to take a look at this information. So we've broke it down and given people examples of non-weird, non-hey-hun ways to start a conversation. Which, online, we've got access to billions of social media users. And I want people to think about this, right? Because people get a bit weird on social media, and I've took the word out of this as well. People are normal in person. You'd see someone in a bar, you'd start a normal conversation. You wouldn't ring anybody and say, I've just seen Leah in the bar. How do I say hi? You know how to do it. But when you get online, people start changing things and it's just a belief system. And so what we've done is, what I want people to think about is what social media is for, first off. It's called social media. So it's designed for you to put some media online. Guess what? So that other people are social to it. We post online in our dresses, on our holidays, so that people go, this looks nice. What's this? Where you bought that from? How was the restaurant? So firstly, take the word out of social media. You post with the sole want of somebody reacting to it. So we've taught people how to have a normal, organic, authentic conversation based on things that are already on people's social media. So whether they're cold or hot or super warm, it doesn't matter. They've posted something. And if you don't have a weird conversation, you can start to build rapport with that human. And suddenly they're not a cold network. You've started to make a bond and some rapport with that person. And as trust comes in, it becomes easier to help them with whatever your product is or the business.
Yeah. And hey, you got to do a weird thing to get a weird thing. Like you got to do like right? Like your income check every month is weird. it's just weird. Like, you show anyone like, hey, I work from home, or I work from a plane, or I work from a jet, or I work in different time zones, or I work around the world wherever I want, whenever I want, however I want, and that's how much I got paid last month. They're gonna go,
So
no,
strange.
right? So like, you got to do the weird work, or you got to do the weird work to get the weird work, right? So I also think what you said before as well about like the online to offline, like no one gets married like on Tinder. Like no one gets married like on Zoom. Like no one tries to be intimate on a Skype call or like a FaceTime. Like some people do. It's weird, right? But like, like it just doesn't work. It just doesn't work like that. So I've got so many questions. I guess the one that I've got right now is, how are you like, in what environment are you teaching like the conversation, like the people, the conversation? Because I'm huge on like personality types, introvert, extrovert, red, yellow, blue, green. I'm huge on that because that's how I learned so much emotional intelligence from that. Like, how are you teaching it? Are you like doing it one to one? Are you doing it group? Are you doing like boot camp? Like how are you doing that? Because I think it's important for people to know.
Yeah, so what we did was we did a boot camp initially. So the very first one that we did was April last year, and we did it over 6 weeks where we taught. So what I want everybody to think about now is what your base level DMO flow looks like. So what I mean, if anybody doesn't know that or uses different terminology, is your daily method of operation. So what are your income producing activities that you need to do or should be doing every single day to kick out whatever your desired result is? It might be sale of a product, it might be welcoming a new business partner, rep, distributor, whatever you call them. And what steps do you need to take to achieve whatever the goal is at the end? So when I said before about fancy fails and simple scales, that's how simple what our day-to-day, our day-to-day needs are. But sometimes you get so wrapped up in the Zoom calls and the podcast and the thing and what somebody else is posting that you forget that you're not doing the things that need to do that are actually going to move your business. So we shipped it right back and did a 6-week boot camp where we taught each income producing activity. Number one, how to start a conversation. And it was as simple as, let me tell you all to just turn your brain off for this next 4 hours while we do this. We're going to start some conversations online. And I'd give you examples of how to start a conversation, what I would respond to personally, and what I would respond to personally if you were going to speak to me. And then the next week was pivoting. So now that you've got some rapport going with this person, a nice flow, why don't you ask them, do they want to take a look at the product or the business? And we'd give them authentic, organic, not scripted ways that you could mention what you've got and see if it's for that. And it went all the way through. So think about what your base level DMO is. Week 3 was exposures, then it was third-party leverage, so utilize somebody above to help with questions, and then it was follow-up, and then we taught people how to expand network. But what we realized after that is we can make it even more simple. So we did it again in January, over a week, and it was just 5 days, 5 skills, an hour of skill with a challenge at the end of it. And we taught everybody how to get one new business partner in that week. Everybody that did it, we got 140% success rate from.
Yes, that's awesome. And it becomes a system, right? So like the 6 weeks of the steps, and people are conditioned, and then obviously you make it 5 days to find their one in the business. That gives them their belief, it excites them, it ignites them. It's incredible. And I think as well, like being authentic. I remember my dad, when I first started, he got me to write my list, and I had to go invite my first 5 people, and the first 5 people were my best friends, and I turned into a scripted like, I've never in my life said to my best friend Pete, like, hello Peter, and I remember like, hello Peter, and he's like, hey mate. I'm like, how are you? He's like, it was so, he just knew that I was like, he just knew I was reading off a script. So authentic conversations are always going to win. Always going to win. Leah, this was amazing. Thank you so much. How do people find you on social media so they can go and follow you and see all your jet setting in the 700 countries that you've been to in the last 4 days?
I am at Leah Locket, so first name and surname on Instagram. I'm pretty active on Instagram, but do use Facebook. Need to get on TikTok though. It's on the list.
You're doing all right without it, I think. You're all good. You're all good. All right. Hey, thanks so much again. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
All right, that was absolutely incredible. Thank you again so much, Leah. Thank you guys for also tuning in. And remember, guys, go and follow these different speakers and go and let them know how much you loved their different sections as well. And remember, like yesterday, to take a screenshot, take a little boomerang, a little video of what you're doing here throughout this week to show the people who follow you on Instagram or Facebook or all the different platforms. TikTok has stories now, so you can show those audiences that you are in growth mode, you are in beast mode, and they should pay attention to you, right? It's also cool that in a year from now, the memory's going to pop up and you're like, oh, that's so cool. And I love to see your perspective. I love to see your bingo moments as well. So anyway, let's carry on. So the behind the scenes, just for you guys to know, because I know a lot of you guys are curious about what is being said in the behind the scenes interviews. And with Leah, I asked her, how do you take your online business offline? Remember what I talked about in day one about like the online and the offline? Well, getting people from online to offline, it sometimes can be a bit of a challenge, but Leah has somehow managed to make it so freaking simple that they're filling rooms in the UK with like 2,000-3,000 people like every few months, right? Which in the UK is super, super rare. So to have a large percentage of our active organization going to events is a big, big, big skill. And she's overcome that. So she's very qualified to teach you. So how to go from online to offline. How do you create the sub-communities in a way that people are excited and it's not creating friction and drama? And how are you exposing the business so that like when someone says like, yes, I'm interested, like what's that tool? What's that process that's smart, that's sexy, that's working that other people could implement as well? And I absolutely love what she does because not many people do it. All right. Not many people do it at all. And I wish more and more people did it. All right. So here's what we're going to do. Tomorrow, I have got some amazing stuff for you. We've got, oh, and by the way, before that, sorry, my bad, I forgot. For those of you who don't have the All Access Pass, hit the green button. I would hate for you to miss out on it. You're going to get the behind the scenes interviews, which now includes, well, there's 10 speakers, but Leah, AJ, Michelle, and Morgan. There's 10 behind the scenes interviews, the lifetime access to all the recordings of this amazing summit, and access to the implementation training, which is going to be live. And you'll also get the recorded version of that as well once we have finished in our members area for you to watch over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. Now, tomorrow, we've got some amazing stuff. We're going to hear from Lavonda, who is the number one recruiter and top income earner in her company. She recruits a ridiculous number of people. I think in the top 20 recruiters in that company, all of them are in her team. That's what she told me, right? And then we're going to hear from the amazing Sasha, who has a system that has doubled his already big business in just 3 months. And as I mentioned, I've got a very, very, very special gift for each and every single one of you that you are going to love me for. You're going to love me for. I'm also going to talk about Facebook groups and also like a Dream 50. I'm super excited about that. So do not miss tomorrow's session. If you are able to, post a story, let me know what your bingo moment was inside of the Telegram channel, and seriously consider getting the All Access Pass. Make a decision whether, yes, I'm going to get it, no, I'm not going to get it, and don't leave it up to chance. Oh, I'll think about it. Maybe I will, maybe not. Make a yes or no decision. All right. That offer, by the way, for the price that it is, the ridiculously low price that it is, will end as soon as the timer hits 0 on day 5. All right. Tomorrow, I've got an amazing gift for you. Day 4, I've got something super exciting for you. Day 5, I've got something amazing for you as well. This summit is just going to get better and better, and I cannot wait for you to be an extended part of that. All right? Big love to each and every single one of you, and I'll see you on day 3 tomorrow. Bye-bye.